Stay tuned for tonight's adventure with the Fat Man.
Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope it's good to be where you are because I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Baltimore Fats, and this is When Candy Attacks. Okay. All right, so this morning I went to the grocery store, and as I was perusing the aisles, I came across this M&M candy display. And it says, M&M's, to be honest, I don't love socializing. Right? And you look at this M&M guy. Look how frightened he looks. Let's see if I can get him. Right? He's biting his nails. He's really sort of nervous. And when I saw this, I was really kind of taken aback because I was like, wow, this is really kind of amazing given the times that we are living in. Right? What is happening with this? Because, as with all of this stuff, it is advertising. And so what is M&M's advertising here? They are advertising, they are commercializing and socially normalizing social distance, right? Or at least, planting a subliminal seed for the normalization of lack of socializing, right? Of course, the other side of this is what makes advertising brilliant, of course, is this. It also just happens to promote, maybe this just promotes gluttony. Like, I don't love socializing because I want all of these caramel M&Ms to myself. Right? But, so I wanted to take a look, like, when did they start doing this? Because I posted this on my personal Facebook page. It says saying something like, am I the only one who sees anything terribly wrong with this picture? Right? And I got a comment from a friend. They've been doing this advertising campaign for a while. And now, when I heard that, that just kind of set off all kinds of things because, you have to think about the nature of advertising and what it does, and the way that it works in our subconscious mind, right? And, so I wanted to first look at the M&M webpage, right? But here are the slogans. They have 6 slogans. Now, it doesn't say, I don't think, or I didn't cruise this entire page, but it didn't say when this advertising campaign started, but it does list the 6 advertising messages that are there, right? And so if the red one has, thanks for being as awesome as I am, there's just no way, right? Yellow is miss your face. Again, also kind of implying distance. Yellow says miss your face, which, also kind of implies distance, right? Green, love your selfie, also kind of double, has like a double meaning, like love yourself, but also love your selfie, also like a distance thing, like this is someone saying this to somebody else, right? Brown is, I like you more than most people, okay? Blue is, don't say I never did anything for you. And orange is the one that I took the picture of, which is, to be honest, I don't love socializing. And so again, I kind of think it's interesting. Some of these can be related directly to isolation if they've been in the public view, like in grocery stores or as part of an M&M's ad campaign. It kind of subliminally suggests to the viewer or whoever sees the advertisement, like I said, this normalization of social distance. All right? So, I just quickly, I'm not going to look at any of these articles because all of this is easily found, right? This is not a secret. But the problem is people don't understand what they're looking at because they're so, kind of tuned in, I pointed out earlier in the series and everything that with what is psychological warfare, but the power of suggestion through images, right? And, of course, they do this in many other ways. They also do it with sound. And I had my friend Buddy send me this. We were talking back and forth a little bit about subliminals, and he sent me this confidence, happiness, and motivation tone thing from this Minds in Unison, right? And he was, he said, just listen to this. You only need a couple of minutes. And so I did. I put it on, probably too loud a volume than should have been, but I think that was part of the point. But I put it on some headphones, and I listened to about 2-3 minutes. And sure enough, underneath, I can absolutely hear subliminal things being whispered. And actually, this video tells you what's in there, right? It tells you the subliminals. This is everything being force-fed over these tones on this video. Right? And it's actually kind of creepy when you listen to it because it sounds very mechanical, way deep underneath. At least that's what I kind of was able to, for lack of a better term, fish out of it. Right? And, so the power of suggestion is, I don't call it the power of suggestion for nothing. It's a very powerful thing. Right? Subliminal suggestion as well. And, like subliminal suggestion even has a deeper layer, where they flash images at such a super fast rate, so fast that you can't see them, but your subconscious mind processes them that way. All right? And, so who does this advertising? Like, who created this campaign for M&Ms? Who does that? And those are PR firms, right? And so this is the Observer's list of the most powerful PR firms in 2019. Now, I didn't go looking for which one did this M&Ms. But I just want to point out the power of the PR firm. All right? And I do like, it does say somewhere, where does it say? All right, PR firms, though few still call themselves that, have become critical partners as brands navigate a world where social media seems to move faster than real time. Moving faster than real time essentially just means sets the trends, dictates the pace. And that's what that means, right? And that's what these PR firms do, right? And so maybe I'll link this one. I'm not going to leave any of that, but I know that there were, I once read a book that I no longer have, and it was all about the crimes of PR firms and how, chemical factories and crooked politicians and people like this all use PR firms to benefit themselves, to rebrand themselves and sell themselves in the public, and so on and so forth. All right? And so we have the crimes of public relation firms, right? Media relations and the criminal justice system. And again, I don't need to go looking at all of this stuff. I'm showing the way. Here it is. Go check this stuff out, right? U.S. lobbying, PR firms give human rights abuser a friendly face. Right? And you better believe that it's these PR firms that are creating all the ad campaigns and the memes and everything like that that's being dictated in the social media regarding, how we should be behaving in this COVID-19 pandemic and the government control of the public response, wearing of the masks and the social distancing and things of that nature. All of that stuff is coming from these. Look at this. This one's called Babel. I didn't even notice that you can't make this stuff up. That is unbelievable. Shoot. I wanted to look at, M&Ms. M&Ms is part of the Mars family of candy. Right? And so let's take a look at the Mars Corporation real quick. I'm not going to dig that deep because I don't really have to. Look. It had $33 billion in annual sales in 2015. 33. Confectionery, pet food, and other food products. All right, a provider of animal care services as well. I didn't know that. All right. It is the sixth. No coincidence. It is the sixth largest privately held company. No coincidence there. The sixth. Right? And it's unbelievable. And it is owned by the company is entirely owned by the Mars family. Dun dun dun. Right? Who's Mars? He's the son of Jupiter. And I feel like Jupiter's been coming up a lot for me, but I haven't been talking about it in the show, which is kind of interesting. Right, but there was one just really quick thing I'm going to bring up. So Mars is So one thing about Mars, as we all know, he's the god of war, right? And but it says, Mars represented military power as a way to secure peace. And now what is going to happen when they start bringing out the National Guard to force feed everybody the vaccination? Mars representing military power to secure peace. All right? Look at these names. And here are siblings, some familiar names in there. His brothers and sisters, right? Right. And, it's also the planet. Do they have... and here's the planet. I'm not going to get in on the planet. Maybe someday there'll be time to get in on the planet and master reality somewhere. But it is interesting to see, and again, the same is true of like Nabisco. Nabisco owns the world. All right, and so it was started by this Franklin Clarence Mars, and I think Franklin is a name that, of course it's tying in with the YMCA on Franklin Street, and I haven't even delved that deeply into that yet. But 1911, so now we're talking about the tail end almost of that kind of reset period, and they're, and as we know, they quickly really change, and they introduce a lot of the foods that we know today, a lot of vegetables, start coming to market around this time, and shortly thereafter, maybe even post World War I, that weren't around before, and they, and so we'll look at Franklin just real quick. There he is. And I think it's interesting. He names his son Forrest Edward Mars, and Forrest's playing such a part, especially like Howard's Woods and things like that. Just seeing the name Forrest just makes bells ring for me, and look, he dies in Baltimore. Of course he does. Oh my God, I didn't even, see, this is the beauty of first take stuff. I'm hoping I can do this. Okay, and so Franklin here, he gets his candy business going in Tacoma, right? But doesn't have much success there because he's competing against locals, and then he picks it up, and he moves back to Minnesota and really kicks things off in 1920, and he quickly becomes one of the biggest candy manufacturers on the planet, in America, right? But he dies at a relatively young age at 51, which I think is interesting. That's a 6. And I also think it's interesting that you can get a 6 out of 1934, right? Which, is 17. 7 minus 1 is a 6. So that's kind of cool. Right? But let's look at his son real quick. This Forrest Edward Mars. All right, and there he is. All right, he lives to be a nice old age, 95. All right, he was worth $4 billion, I guess, at the time of his death. Right, and of course he went to Yale, right, with, so many, Yale starting to show its head so much, and look, it has Hebrew on it, because Yale's very much involved in the idea of Zionism. At least its founders may have been. Maybe, right, and, at some point he has a falling out with his dad, and he moves to England, and he starts a candy company over there, Mars Bar and Maltesers, I'm going to pronounce that as, right, in 1933. Right, again, more 3s. Right, and he briefly works for Nestle and Tobler. Right, oh, canned meat. Canned meat for dogs. I wonder what kind of meat was in those cans. So I guess he starts the pet industry. Unbelievable. I don't know. I saw. But this guy. So I mean, it's amazing. This guy establishes Uncle Ben's. Right. He's got the pet food market going. Right. And he partners with this guy, this Bruce Murray, and he creates M&Ms. But it's interesting that he was allergic to peanuts his entire life. All right. And his wife, Audrey Ruth Mayer, she dies in D.C., which I think is kind of interesting, on June 15, 1966. All right. So. All right, so interesting kind of connections to, to chocolate and candy and Mars and social programming through public relations and advertising. All from a trip to the grocery store and seeing this bag of M&Ms. Because M&Ms, to be honest, this orange one doesn't love socializing. All right, so this has been When Candies Attack. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until the next one, cheers, guys.